everyone and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Lauren, and on my channel we mostly talk about anything luxury, but we also discuss lifestyle and beauty. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please consider subscribing to my channel and we'll get started with the video. So in today's video, I'm going to be presenting you a list of reasons why you should buy replicas. And then towards the end of the video, I will show you how to make everybody believe that your bag is real. I know that this video is going to be like a bomb and that a lot of people are not going to be in agreement with me, but please stick it out to the end and hear me out on this. So if you're curious to hear my thoughts, then please keep on watching. So the first thing that I will say is that you should have a fake version of each of the bags that you own. So if you have like 18 bags in your bag collection, then you should also have 18 fakes in your fake bag collection, and you should wear those ones. So that will allow you to reduce the wear and tear on the real bags that you do have, and that way you can keep those real bags for investment purposes. That would be really the first approach that I would mention. It's a very kind of like famous, well thought of approach that a lot of actually really wealthy people use to, you know, kind of like save their bags for either occasions or even just for investment purposes. So that would be the first point about replicas, would be to wear the fake ones out while keeping the real ones safe at home and still having the real ones obviously for either occasions, like big occasions, or investment purposes. Another very interesting point to mention would be to only use your real bags in situations where you know that the people are going to be looking at whether or not your bag is authentic, or people are going to be interested in brands. So I would say only use it for occasions when you have to, what I call chick flex, which is, you know, like flexing in front of other girls. If you're going out with a bunch of guys, or if you're going out on a date, I really don't think that the persons that you're with are going to be checking your bag that closely. They're not going to be like with a microscope next to your handbag. So that's a very low probability that people would find out that you are not carrying a real handbag. But on occasions where you're going to the mall, for example, where, you know, you're meeting, I don't know, somebody's wife for the first time, those are going to be the types of occasions that you will want to bring out your real bag, because you do not want to attempt to chick flex and then have it come out the real wrong way, where one of the girls actually finds out that you're carrying a replica. And the last thing that I would mention for people who are buying replicas but also have the same version of the real bag is, I think that a lot of them are interested in the bag as an investment, in the real bag as an investment piece. And obviously if you wear it constantly, even though, you know, it's from a great brand with like an iconic model, that bag is not going to go up in value by a big margin. However, if you do keep your handbag, you know, kind of like stored away, then of course with a brand like Chanel, you know, over the years you are going to be able to make a big profit if you do end up selling it. So there is going to be a big difference in the resale value in terms of wear and tear. So obviously wearing the fake one would kind of allow you to, you know, save the real one for an investment, for, you know, by even just like looking at it. If just looking at it makes you happy, then that would be something that you could do in order to, you know, kind of like still wear something that you like, having something nice, and at the same time, you know, making a bunch of money kind of over time. So I understand that a lot of people nowadays do that with fakes and then real bags as well. So the second approach would be to actually only buy replicas instead of investing in real handbags. And I think the thing about that has to do with the fact that the real bags are not worth the money. So if we're looking at a Chanel bag, for example, at a Chanel medium classic flap, Chanel is my absolute favorite brand. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that I'm obsessed with them. I love this brand so much. I I have a couple of real Chanel bags, real classic flaps, but like $10,200 for a handbag. Even I have to admit that it becomes unreasonable, and it's not justified that a handbag costs the same amount as like a small car. It's just incredibly pricey, and there's no real reason why this is, other than the fact that people are, you know, willing to pay for it and that it is the brand. But other than that, if you're looking at, you know, like the price of like the pieces, the parts, like the leather, the fabric, the whatever it is, the labor, it really isn't justified. So I think for the people who own replicas without owning the real bags, what I keep hearing from them is that, you know, the real bags are not worth the money, not even for the store experience, because it is true that you do have, you know, a nice store experience when you go shop at places like Chanel, Dior, etc. Yes, you have a shop assistant that's there with you, oftentimes a glass or two of champagne, you know, the people like kind of like walk you through what's nice, what's trendy, etc., etc. But yeah, you are spending 10K. So when you think about it, that's kind of like the bare minimum. And so for people who do not have these real bags, their main thing is that the bags are not worth the money, and even the store experience is not worth that hefty price tag. I think that the next reason why a lot of people buy replicas instead of at all buying real bags is because of the quality issues that have recently arisen in real handbags. I mean, there's a lot of brands that have them. Louis Vuitton is most famous for them, but they also happen at other brands. You know, they also happen at Dior, Chanel, like all of them have like once in a while these quality issues, and frankly for that price tag it is quite discouraging. It actually did happen to me on Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis. So if you are interested in kind of hearing, you know, my first impressions of this bag and my experience with it, then I will go ahead and leave the link to the video in the little information link over here for you to see it. So I understand that, you know, having those quality issues can be discouraging, and at the same time the quality of these fakes has kind of like risen and risen and risen, and now there's different tiers of replicas, there's different, you know, rankings. By the way, if you are curious to see the rankings of the replica bags, I will leave the chart down there in the description box of the video so you can go look at it. I often do like real versus fake videos on my channel. It's kind of something that I love doing. I'm obsessed with it because I feel like I learned so much about like the handbag that I already have, as well as about replicas. And sometimes it really is almost undistinguishable to see any kind of difference between the real one and the fake one. And, you know, very seldomly does the fake one have quality issues. So I understand that people can be inclined to buy replicas only instead of buying real bags. And now for the most interesting part of the video, how do you make people believe that your bag, that your replica is in fact a real bag? And obviously, you know, we could do an entire video on the subject because there's a lot of ways in which you can do that. I would say my best piece of advice is very simple. It's watch the way that you're dressed. Obviously, if you wear a bag, regardless of whether it's real or fake, with, I don't know, like a tracksuit or like sweatpants, something that's really unclassy, people are going to be wondering whether the bag is real or fake, even if the bag is actually real. So, you know, if you are dressing like in a very classy and classic manner, I think this is gonna, by a wide margin, lower their doubts. Obviously, you know, having a bag of like a top tier replica quality is important. You do not want like a bottom tier one, because then everybody will be able to tell that it is a fake one. So those would be kind of like the first thing to check. And then one of my best piece of advice, I think, would be to say that you should be able to mix it in the sense that you should not be wearing all fakes. So if your watch is fake, your bag is fake, your jewelry is fake, your shoes are fake, it becomes a little too much. So I would say if you're able to mix it in, so for example, if you, you know, have like a real Rolex with like a fake handbag, with real shoes, with a fake bracelet, for example. Like that kind of combination, I would stick it with like a 50-50 ratio of fake to real ones. That way it's not as obvious that you're carrying fakes. The next piece of advice that I would give you on how to make people believe that your fake bag is actually a real one would be to really do your research and kind of like study up the brand, the history of it, the model, you know, what the bag looks like, how it feels, how it is. I would really recommend that you actually go try on in store the real bag, so that you kind of have a feel for it, so that you know what you're talking about. I think that that's important. It shows, you know, depth, knowledge, research. Those things are very, very important. And then the next thing, this kind of brings me to my next thing, would be if people are asking to see something from up close, that also kind of means that you put yourself in a not so good situation of like possibly chick flexing with a fake bag, which I would actually really avoid at all costs. But if you are by mistake in that situation, then I would show the person the bag quickly and then, you know, show them something else right afterwards, kind of like as a, well, and now that we're on the topic, look at this, you know, like Rolex that I bought, and you know, you're showing them something real so that they don't actually have the time to look at whether or not the bag is fake. I feel like if the bag is from a top tier replica standard, it's going to be very hard for them to see that in a matter of like a couple of seconds, like in 30 seconds. I don't think that the person would be able to tell. I think from, you know, the fakes that I receive from the fake factories, I'm only able to tell because I'm comparing the real one and the fake one next to each other. And if I were to only see the fake one in the street on somebody, I would not be able to tell, probably not even within the first 30 seconds, because, you know, even though I might actually have this handbag at home, it's not like out there in front of me. And so I always have this thing where I'm like, then I have a doubt, like, is it really that? Do I remember correctly? So I feel like, you know, if you are able to make the person kind of like think about something else quickly, then they're not gonna have time to see that your bag, the bag that you're carrying, is actually a fake. And lastly, my last piece of advice would be to carry yourself in such a way that shows a lot of confidence, that shows that you're not like, people are looking at me, oh my God. Because if you are embarrassed, or you feel like you're scared, or people can see that you're scared, then this will kind of like raise a red flag, and then, you know, people will slowly but surely figure out that there's something wrong, and they might put their hand on it. So I would say carry yourself, you know, in such a way that shows a lot of confidence, and that, you know, I think if you are wearing the right clothes that, you know, fit you, suit you, make you look good, that would also help. So again, in combination to the first point that I made, the earlier point that I made, really avoid like tracksuits and classy things. Think of, you know, models and like types of tops, dresses, skirts that suit your body, that look good on you, colors that kind of like, you know, show off your complexion, your eyes, things like that. And that way you can feel a little bit more, you know, reassured and confident. And that's a great way for people not to find out that you're carrying a fake. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video was interesting and definitely something kind of different from what I'm used to doing on my channel. I know that this is a very sensitive topic, and that a lot of people will, you know, start commenting, well, what about the, you know, workers' rights, the labor, this and that. And what I will say to that is that even nice brands, even designer brands, have, you know, labor in China in not so great conditions. So I am trying to, you know, detach myself from that. I personally do not wear fakes. I love receiving them to compare and contrast like real versus fakes. That's kind of like a series that I have going on my channel, but I personally do not wear fakes. However, I'm telling you, I don't necessarily judge people who do that. I understand, and I think there's some, you know, valid concerns with the luxury industry right now, and, you know, I think that in a lot of ways they might be smart and maybe right. So I think that everybody should be entitled to their opinions, and hopefully we can leave it at that. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.